And we're live again here at the Combermere Live. Charlie, how you doing?
I am doing fine, man. How are you doing?
Did I say Combermere Live? It's Combermere Lime, not Combermere
Combermere
Lime.
Lime, no, yeah.
I think this is such a brilliant idea to have Combermere small of the world come and have a chat. And the word is spreading. It's going to get there. I would love to see Combermereans from every part of the world coming on our show and having a chat.
Yes.
The first thing I want to talk about, Charlie, I'm sure you have seen this on social media. Why does it take 6 or 7 police officers to arrest, detain, and handcuff one man? What's going on with that? What's your take on that, Charlie?
Well, first of all, let's take a look at some of the things that have gone on.
Okay, let's do that.
That have sparked this discussion.
Don't choke the man, don't choke him. Oh, right, man. Start stepping up, man. Relax, man. Relax.
Relax yourself. Relax yourself. Come on, relax yourself. Relax yourself. Relax for me.
For you?
Relax.
I want to relax. Yes, damage me, right?
Relax yourself.
I want.
Relax yourself.
I want to relax.
Relax yourself.
Nah, I don't want to relax. What do you want to
Why are you fighting that?
What do you want
You fighting that for? Yo, relax yourself.
Stop fighting that. I give away my hand.
You get over something, relax yourself.
I know I get away. I give it up. I give it up. Where am I doing this? I'm going to do this.
Where are you, man? Relax. Bottom. Fight.
I know what this
Yeah,
is. My mom wanted to get this.
Yeah, Charlie, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, we're gonna also have to include in this conversation the height requirement for police in Barbados. Because I remember when my father was a police officer,
Had to be 6
you
foot.
had to be 6 feet tall.
Yeah. Mhm.
But let's get back to what happened. The comedy here. I know there's a lot more to it, but we can't really let it go on like that. But before our line began, we were talking about training that's required. What is your take on this vis-a-vis the training that police don't have or they need to have in order to handle situations like that? Because it shouldn't take 5, 6, or 7 police officers to handcuff and apprehend one assailant.
Well, the more officers are engaged with the arrest, the safer it is for the officers because they have the manpower to restrain the suspect. But with that ratio of officers to suspect, that's such a small guy. They should have been able to bring him under control in a more controlled way. So, I think, in all fairness to the police service, you can see from the clip, they get a lot of interference in the execution of the duties.
Yeah.
And people spur along and basically aggravate the situation and encourage the person. I mean, I would give that guy an Oscar. If you watch the whole clip, you can see the police are restraining him, but it does not appear that any of the measures they took would have caused any undue discomfort or harm to the person.
Yeah.
Because of what the people are saying, he's with all the eye and this and the next and the third, and just carrying on, and all this makes the officers involved, especially if they're not seasoned officers, and if they're not from a unit that's accustomed to dealing with that sort of forceful situation. The officer is not necessarily got the mentality and the in-depth training to deal with those sort of forceful situations.
Yes.
But the threat landscape in Barbados has changed. I remember the day. I am sure you remember the day your father, one unarmed policeman, walk up to a crowd of people and say, "Disperse," and they're gone.
Yeah.
Issue, adherence to the law, at least respect for the police force. Nowadays, a policeman has to worry about his safety. Ergo, some officers carry arms now, because the perpetrators out there now seem to have no reservation in causing harm to a police officer in the execution of his duty.
Do you think there is a lack of training when we look at the length of time it took for 5-6 officers to put the assailant in handcuffs?
Not necessarily, because I think police officers are now very cognizant of social media and everybody with a smart camera and stuff like that. So they have to walk a very narrow balance between being overly forceful, and breaching some sort of statute. So in the case, I understand that this person was being detained or spoken to because of the possession of a marijuana cigarette. A lot of people believe with the deregulation or decriminalization, that my understanding is that it's not a ticketable offense, a misdemeanor kind of thing. That doesn't mean that you can probably walk around in the public domain displaying these things and basically affronting people who might not be comfortable with such things in the public domain. So the police officer is then forced to say, "My man, you need to conceal that thing," or whatever. It's a whole matter of how he responds to the police officer. Determines if the police officer makes a personal decision to warn him, write him a ticket. But obviously something would have caused the escalation and a number of police to arrive on the scene. And try. So I mean, we don't know the whole story. When you see these things on social media, they pick up from the point of interest. You don't see all the stuff that's leading up to how it got there.
True.
Right?
In the clip there, we saw a police officer. He was what, 5'5".
I don't know what if they've dropped that requirement.
Obviously they have. Do you think that you think that? I suppose they did it because there's a desperate need for police officers, and
right now they're 200 officers short, and but I believe also other things would have come into play. You can't discriminate against people because they're short. This kind of stuff. You must be a little bit more uniform in your selection process now because of all these rights of various groups and everything.
But as a military man,
physical how you done have an advantage. Pardon me?
As a military man, you know about security and so on. What is your personal take on it? Do you think that they should be a height requirement?
There should be a minimum height requirement because if someone is too small, first of all, they're not going to command some sort of like caution from perpetrators. The perpetrator is going to think, "Oh, you can knock him down and go along." We're still in this psyche of physical size projecting a certain level of authority and physical capability. A guy looks at you and says, "Man, if he hit me, I gone down," kind of thing. They want to commit crime, but they don't want to get hurt, right? So the potential for really bringing a guy down is enough to keep some people quiet, right?
Yes.
There are training methods. Um, the hand-to-hand confrontational methods. I have no idea what the syllabus at the training school is now. But that is a big requirement in some U.S. forces.
Yes.
Bringing down people and getting them into a state of submission fairly quickly with the use of one or two officers.
Yes.
And they are also exposed to the social media, and they are also exposed, especially when dealing with people of our color, to excessive action.
Yeah.
But my personal stance is if you start a little high to get the fella to realize that you're serious, and then you de-escalate, it is better than going in soft and the fella playing the fool, and then you got to escalate beyond reason.
On the other spectrum now, I notice many of our police officers here in Barbados are overweight. I would even say obese in some instances. I mean, that I have an issue with that.
That's the world's different, man. I work with personnel in the security public safety area.
Yeah.
And unless they're in something like a SSU or one of these really specialized units that tend to be young and fit and tall, you get the average enforcement officer is not very athletic. Some of them have fairly big bellies and stuff like that. I know at one point in time, I mean, even in the armed forces in some countries, you look at, you go, what's going on there. I know certain units, like I said, special units, part of their regime is PT on a fairly regular basis.
Yes.
Them fellas running every day. When it was in the BDF, the unit that I was in used to run fairly regularly, whether it was part of the routine or the fellas just get together and go for a run because they realize that keeping fit enabled them to do things better in the job.
There's a need for more police in Barbados, absolutely. What do you think should happen in order for them to increase without the challenges that they're facing now? Certainly, better pay is a consideration. What are some of the other things you think need to happen for them to be able to increase the police force, to an adequate number to be able to deal with the issues here in Barbados, from a more commanding position in terms of numbers?
But from an outsider's and layman's point of view, I would think that first they have to start with their benefits and I don't know what the remuneration scale is for them. I believe it's similar to the BDF, which is reasonably decent. And but what attracts people right more are the fringe benefits, your health, various types of benefits, the ability to get loans for a home, a car, this kind of thing. Those are the kind of things that really let people think that. Let me bring on Ashton here. Those are the kind of things that.
Good night, gentlemen. Good night.
Hey.
Good night, Anton. How are you doing?
Yeah,
I'm great.
Those are the kind of things that Ashton, you can know the background.
Sure. Sorry.
Those are the kind of things that encourage people to think of a position as a career rather than as a job, right? Possibilities for promotion, equality in treatment, all these kind of things. Once these things are in place, I believe they already have a fairly good credit union and a fairly good fairly decent benefits. After that is in place, then you really got to market the thing. You got to do these recruitment drives and stuff like that.
Let's bring Anton into the conversation. And Anton, before you joined us, we showed a video clip of about 5 or 6 police officers arresting one individual and struggling to do so up until when I think up until when the clip finished, even beyond what we actually saw, I don't think they managed to get the handcuffs on this guy. And then they tried to get him into a vehicle, and that was a bloody struggle. It looked like a comedy, Anton. What are your? Have you seen the video? Have you seen the video, Anton?
I think I saw the video. Wait a minute.
You're on 2 devices.
Can you guys see me? I don't know what's going on.
2 devices.
You're on 2 devices. Let me remove you from this one here. Okay, no, you need to be back on this one. Let's get this one down. Okay, hang on a minute, Anton. You're on 2 devices here.
Oh, it's the same device. It's just that I lost my hat, so I tried to get back in.
Let me remove. Okay, just 1 second. I think I can kick you from the studio from this one. And there you go. Okay, there you go, Anton.
All right. Yeah, so they're
You see, I'm out again.
No, you're there with us. We can hear you.
You can hear me, but I can't see you. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, well, you need to go out.
You need to go and come back.
Yeah. Let me get out. Let me get out all together and get back in.
Okay, no problem. Okay. So we'll just wait for him to come back. Yeah, go ahead.
So I think is a lot to do with marketing and stuff too. The recruitment drives. I mean, I've not really been around that much to be aware, because things like that remain local. You don't see them things overseas.
Yeah.
But I know, because I'm part of the BDF site and stuff, I know when they have recruitment drives, and they're always doing things and stuff to try to heighten interest in the force. And to be quite honest, it is quite beneficial for young people to join the public services, and make a career of it.
Do you think it would be useful for them to go into the schools to recruit from the schools?
I think they used to do that at one time. I am sure that I've seen career days with police officers framing. Trade Winds is an excellent showcase for the BDF, and the BDF is always out there doing public service duties and stuff like that there.
Yeah.
And I remember the days like when I was a little boy, you want to be a policeman or you want to be a fireman, I don't know if the youngsters nowadays, not the ones that I'm exposed to, with a few exceptions, people will tell me, oh yeah, you can see that they're really serious about the cadets and stuff, and to tell you straight, we want to join the BDF when we get out of school. And they're using the whole cadet career thing, although there's really no relationship between the full force and the cadet corps. But at least you have the experience in the military discipline already, and you should move faster and assimilate the information quicker. But basically, you don't find a lot of youngsters now that really, I remember the days where intakes were huge, and you sit down and you look at the intake at the beginning and you say, well, listen, at least 20 of them can be gone by 2 weeks from now, right? But no, you can't really afford to RTU or not RTU, because they ain't returning them to the unit, but you can't afford to shift out fellas too early, because you need the passing out of the intake to be at a certain amount, at least to make up 2 or 3 platoons, so surely things have changed in this world. Standards have had to be adjusted. Desires and stuff like that have changed with the youngsters. The things that they're interested in now are not the things we were interested in as children or young men. And it's just a different world we're dealing with. But the fact that I saw a recent article that we are 300 officers short. That's a fairly serious thing. When the force is probably about 1,200 officers or so, they're down to like 900. I don't know how that affects the deployments and their manpower resources. It probably means that the ones that are there get to pull a lot of shifts, you know, and then that's to affect the home life and you know, it just stress you out. You know, you need recovery time, especially in a stressful job like law enforcement. You need recovery time.
Let's invite Anton to weigh in here. Anton, are you hearing me clearly?
I can hear you clearly. I can see you.
Oh,
can
good.
you see me?
You got a
Yes,
beep going off in the background all the time?
Huh?
You have a beep.
Do I have what?
A beep. I hearing a beep.
No, I can't. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. That's my refrigerator. That's an alarm on some reason. I don't know. I think it's getting ready to go. I think it's going out. It's on its last legs. So that's the beat that you're hearing. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, Anton, we showed a clip of police officers arresting an individual here in Barbados, and there were 5 or 6 police officers, one assailant, and they struggled to get him under control. And I don't even think they managed to get him handcuffed. They tried to get him into a van. I know you didn't show the whole clip, but I saw the rest of it. And we were talking about the need for more training for the police, particularly in the area of hand-to-hand combat and taking down someone for arrest.
Well, you know, we use the word combat there because the police is to protect and serve. So they're just basically enforcing the law. You know, it's a matter of when necessary, higher levels of persuasion have to be employed as opposed to, you know, combat is a bad word, wrong connotation.
Okay. Sorry about that. I'm not a military.
Let me say this. I'm from it. Let me say this. I'm a former law enforcement. I'm retired. So the things that I see that's going on in Barbados, whenever police or police officers try to do their job, you have a lot of people gathering around, a lot of people giving their opinions, a lot of people getting involved in the policemen doing their job. So if they try to do anything more than what they did, you would have, you know, because everyone now is a reporter. So you're going to have the phones going off. You're going to have all the talk in the background. You're going to have all the, what people need to do. And I think, and listen, again, I'm former law enforcement, so I'm biased. But I'm going to tell you something. We need to start arresting some of these people around who are stopping the police from doing the job so the police can do their job. And then a lot of this foolishness would stop and they would be able to do their jobs.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
On that point, you know, we got to have the legislation to back it up. I believe I heard in one of the clips, one of these guys on the street saying, I 20 feet back, I 20 feet back. You know, because the policeman tell him to move back. I don't know if
he shouldn't even be in the area. He should not even be in the area.
Well, you know, freedom of movement and stuff, you know. They got
I agree with that. I agree with that. But let me tell you something, right? Let me tell you something. If something breaks out, let's say that guy got away from the police in some reason, and the first thing you do was punch that guy and knock him down, you would hear all kind of talk from the other people that the police are not doing the job. But still, these people will not allow the police to do their job.
All right, stick up in there, right? I can show you another clip.
Okay. I got all night. You can show me all kinds of proofs.
Which brings out, as far as I'm concerned, more operational issues than that first one. All right, Ashton, when these sort of clips showing your video is muted, this overrides everything, right? So you gotta watch it. If I see a mouth moving, I will pause it, right?
Okay. But I won't say anything more. Sorry.
You can talk after.
Oh,
Now go the road there.
Big mama ready?
I want to pause there, right? Because I want to make a couple of observations, right? You would have seen a woman in blue, a civilian, walk right through that operation, right in the middle.
but she walked across. She walked across in front. In front. You mean in front? You mean the lady that walked across?
She was on the inner side of the road, side towards the wall or whatever was there between the operation that was going on and the wall, right? And you got police officers standing around.
And they're not doing nothing. I agree. I agree.
A cordon should have been made around that operation because the person is obviously not being cooperative, and you never could tell what could happen. The second thing I want to say is the SSU shows up and decides to tase the man, and you see how one of the arresting officers is thrown back. So he was obviously touching the person when the taser
And he
went,
felt it.
and he felt it, right? So the thing about that is, even in the flurry, the training must be at a level where people know. Bring on heads there, Charlie. The people know that the officers know how to use something like a taser. It's a non-lethal weapon. Correct choice. In the case like that, person is unarmed and stuff like that. But your fellow officers gotta be clear.
Yeah.
When you discharge this weapon, you can't have fellow officers hands on the man and you discharge the taser. And that should be basic, really. That's where I question the level of that. And the surprising thing is, as an SSU member who got real hours of range time and real hours of tactical training, so that should have been muscle memory. I ain't got a clear shot to use my taser.
What are your thoughts, Anton?
Let me just finish it off. Let's not go, because apparently this goes back to the beginning each time, so that will just kill too much time. But yeah, that is the one that really made me wonder, how much emphasis is being placed now on that kind of confrontational engagement, because it's becoming more and more prevalent in society now. These young men don't want to adhere to police officers' instructions, and
that is why I feel that we should, when you charge someone, resisting arrest should be a charge. If they're going to resist arrest, give them another 6 months in jail. Another 6 months in jail added on to their charges. Obstructing justice, if any of the civilians around feel that they could come in and they need to stand If you say it's 20 feet, they need to stand way back.
I heard
Police officer.
mentioned. So I just assume I
Okay.
didn't know, right? But I would assume
Okay. A police officer should be there, making sure that nobody is within, you know, shouting distance of what's going on there.
Yeah,
At
but
least one police officer should be, hey, directing traffic, so to speak.
right. And one thing I'm sure you can confirm, people talk, well, then policemen doing what we want, man. You know, you're always going with force. You're always, because force contains the necessity for escalation and something bad happening. When you got force there to control the situation, to control the crowd, to control traffic if necessary, to control the assailant, you are in a commanding position. You send a one officer or two officers, he's gonna have a problem. We got to make a deal with for one or two officers to handle. So whenever you see police are worried about the scene, you know, it is obvious, it's a bunch of crap talk to hear. Oh, all these people doing on fear demand, all this kind of, that's how operations run. That's
Right.
how
It's a show of force. Always a show of force.
and the suppression
Always a show of force. And the show of force would avoid the use of force.
And the use of force. Exactly. Right. So I mean, I believe it's things like this, right? That, you know, these PSAs, I noticed in Jamaica to do it. You know, the police, the constabulary comes on from time to time. They run a website and they explain situations like that to the public, you know. And after that, really and truly, if somebody talks foolishness, you know, them could just bugger off. You know, they're just obviously ignorant and lawless, right? But sometimes ignorance in the true sense of the word, the public not knowing how public safety and security forces work, would think that somebody getting on fear, as the Bayesians would say, that actually protects the person from being on fear, because an individual officer may be able to take more drastic action than 5 officers. 5 officers can control it. Or 2 officers cannot control it and need to escalate to a level that doesn't need to be escalated to, or needs to be escalated to, because they don't have the ability to suppress the situation.
It would be interesting to know, or to find out how they deal, what sort of training is in place, and when things like this happen, how do the training, the instructors, how do they take these videos and use it, you know what I mean, going forward in the training? It'd be interesting to know how they train.
You should, you know, that sort of training is a lot of role playing. You know, there are role plays for that kind of situation, for de-escalation type situations, for handling with deranged person situations, you know, and that's why I'm happy to see the levels of force available to the officer right now. One time in the old days, it just had the club, you know, and as simple as that, a club is a dangerous thing, like a crack a skull, right? Then they got the firearms. You know, officer only got a firearm, he only got one tool of choice, right? Now the availability of chemical spray and tasers gives you levels of force so that you can escalate in response to the threat that is being posed. Right. So you can start with your chemical, you know, and that keep most people quiet.
I want to get Anton's weigh in on what we discussed before, and also good night, Hans. How are you doing?
Good night, James. I just got back from a funeral in Brooklyn, so pardon me for being late.
Wow.
No problem. Anton, in the first clip, we noticed that there was a police officer about 5'5". Years ago, there used to be a height requirement.
My height.
I'm sorry.
That's my height.
That's your height. Do you know what is the height requirement in Barbados for police officers? Do you know what it is? And the weight requirement as well.
There used to be a height requirement. I think since they have been short of staff, I think they waived the height requirement.
I see. Okay.
That was very funny.
Yes. Back in our time,
No
police
pun
had to be like
No pun
5'10".
intended.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Back in my time, police had to be 5'10",
6 foot.
6 feet. Yeah, 6 feet, something like that. But I think now, they were finding that they were letting good people slip through the cracks because of that height requirement.
Yeah. Okay. We said before you joined us that there are a lot of police officers that are way overweight, obese to say the least. What is your take on that? What are your feelings on police officers being overweight, seriously overweight?
Because the only time you do physical training for the job is when you're getting in. As long as you are in, they hope that you do the physical training on your own. For instance, I'm retired. I still go and run and walk 5 miles every 2 days because that's me. You
Yeah.
understand? I want to keep my level of activity up. I want to keep my stamina up. You know, I'm 65, but when I come back to Barbados in December, I still want to play in the Masters. I still want to, the guys down the street from me are talking about playing basketball in Clapham. I still want to be able to do all of that. I play road tennis. I play table tennis. I play regular tennis. So when you start the police academy, they require you to be physically active. But once you get in, they're hoping that you do it on your own. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people can't do this, push themselves away from the table. A lot of people find it hard to do. So
That's a social issue though, Charlie, because we have a concern with non-communicable diseases, because of the kind of deaths that people dealing with right now, even from school right up, and you know, the BDF has an annual thing called the BFT, the basic fitness test. You got to run a mile in a certain time and then do a certain amount of sit-ups, a certain amount of push-ups, a certain amount of chin-ups within a
Yeah.
certain time after that. And that has to do with your sort of like the performance evaluation. It has grade pay ramifications and stuff like that. So
What
if
happens when you fail that test every year?
you probably don't get your increment. That's about it.
Mhm.
You're not going to lose your job because of it or anything like that, but there are ramifications. There may be subtle
Okay.
ramifications when you are about the same qualification as another soldier, but the other soldier is fitter, and there's a command position that comes up or promotion that comes up. Probably the fitter person is going to get it, you know.
Yeah.
Um, in some organizations, it's part of your performance evaluation system, uh, and your increments are based on that performance evaluation system. So,
Yeah. Okay.
you don't get the increment you should have got if you were fit, kind of thing.
By the way, Hess, if you want to know what that beeping is, that is Anton's pacemaker. It's the battery is going low. We asked him what it was, and he told us. So that's what it
Well,
is.
I thought it was more connected to his brain and not his heart.
No, that's his pacemaker. There.
Oh Lord.
All right.
there's nothing connected to the brain has. So you already know it.
Talking about brain, we
The
cannot.
brain been dead for years.
Speaking of brain, it would be remiss of us not to talk about Trump
Oh Lord.
Oh, good Lord.
Well,
the recent debate, presidential debate.
Well, yeah, I think the first thing we're gonna talk about is all this the type of cat he talking about people eating. I don't know. I know Bezos eats the cat. I don't know what type of cat he talking about. That the immigrants eat.
Oh Lord, Hess.
That's oral sex, man. You talking about oral sex?
But he's like when you corner a rat,
Yeah.
he will lunge at your throat, and that's what he is. Instead of talking about the issues and something pertinent, he always goes and comes with these outlandish things to just change the narrative altogether. You
He
know,
had many opportunities to attack her on very pertinent issues like the economy and the border, and he just allowed himself to be baited.
He was
And,
baiting.
yeah, he got sucked into
Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
it. Okay.
Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Welcome to you both. It's wonderful to have you. It's an honor to have you both here tonight.
Good evening. We are looking forward to a spirited and thoughtful debate.
So let's get started.
Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. And what we have done is clean up Donald Trump's mess.
We did a phenomenal job with the pandemic. We handed them over a country where the economy and where the stock market was higher than it was before the pandemic came in. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught her well. This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy with a fake Russia investigation
We do have a lot
that went nowhere.
We have a lot.
Nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
She hates Israel. If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now. And I've been pretty good at predictions, and I hope I'm wrong about that one.
That's absolutely not true. I have my entire career and life supported Israel and the Israeli people. He knows that. He's trying to, again, divide and distract from the reality, which is it is very well known that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself. These dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear. They can manipulate you with flattery and favors. And that is why so many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace. It's important to remind the former president you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me.
She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history of our country. We're a failing nation. We're a nation that's in serious decline. We're being laughed at all over the world.
I keep thinking about that debate. And the thing that stayed with me is how she was able to call him a motherfucker without calling him a motherfucker. That was genius. With just a look. You know, and we all heard it. When she said,
and this former president,
we all heard it. We all heard her call him a motherfucker without calling him a motherfucker. This was genius.
You're funny, Charlie. You're funny. I think you did yourself tonight, brother. Mission Impossible? Oh my God.
Yes, so that was a clip that was put together with the high points and the memes that have come up as a result of the ridiculous and racist claims that were made, and the people that follow him are mindless. Whatever he says is what they do. You know. So it's
But
really a
guys,
problem when people can't think for themselves and say, well, listen, the man talking foolishness, you know, they just go along with whatever he says, you know, and it's really embarrassing.
but
It's really
I'm not
embarrassing.
I'm not a Trump supporter, but we can sit here and give our personal opinions on Trump, but yet he got over 70 million votes. Over 70
But
million votes.
you got to understand, the United States have a lot of white people, you know. We don't understand that the United States have more white people than black people. So yes, when he came out talking about making America great again, he was talking about putting the white people back to where they used to be. But they saw 4 years of his presidency, and he did nothing. He never passed any. He never got anything passed. The only thing he passed was anything that Obama had passed before him. He somehow got it overturned. But he never did anything on his own in the 4 years. So
He
yes,
rescinded Roe v. Wade. He
right. He
accomplished
didn't do that. The Supreme Court did that. The judges he put in did that.
He rigged the Supreme Court so he could get it done.
Of course. But that's what I'm saying. The Supreme Court did it. But the thing is, the fact of the matter is that he will not get 70 million. If you said he got 70 million, he will not get 70 million again. Even the white people are again, they see that he's crazy. He's just running for presidency for himself. Listen, his daughter, and up to the day, people don't know what she was a political advisor for him. Up to now, nobody knew what she did for 4 years. She walked away with over $10 million, her and her husband. He walked away with a great. That is why he wants to be president again, so that he could get another 10 or 20 million. He could overturn all these charges against him. That is why he wants to be president. You know, but what can you say? You got a lot of idiots out there who are still believing it. We have a guy, Heska tell you, we have a guy in the chat, and I guess I let him got the best of me, and I guess I call him a few choice words, but I cannot imagine that a black man, a Combermerean black man, could, and I mean, he goes into all the social media, and everything Trump says, he bring out the most disparaging stuff about other black people to prove that Trump is right about everything. I mean, he brought up one today where this woman eating a cat, until somebody came out and said, but this woman is not even Haitian. He was talking about Haitian people eating cats.
Yeah,
this woman was
that was an American citizen who had a slight mental issue.
Mental issue, yes.
It was not in Springfield either.
It was Akron. I think it was Akron, Ohio.
It was another. I part of the clip showed.
It was in Akron, Ohio, I think. But you know, these are the kind of things that you have these followers of Trump doing. And this guy, I mean, you would think that there's someone from Barbados here, a man called countries like Barbados, whole countries. I would back away from him. Why would you want? But he is a strong. He came out and said, listen, he believed in the ideals of the Republican Party. But yet, this is a man that fondles women, rapes women in dressing rooms, all kind of ridiculous. Bankrupt 7 times, defraud the government, all kind. But he is in favor of his ideals. And you know what he's in favor of? Because Trump and the Republicans say they are pro-choice. So therefore, they don't understand what pro-choice means. They think that pro-choice means every abortion, that people just having abortions, just to be having abortions, a form of birth control. That's not pro-choice. That's not against everybody is pro-choice, if you ask me, because everybody have babies. What they're talking about, what the Democrats are talking about is they're using abortions. They want to have abortions to save the life of the mother or the baby, to save rape and incest, to save assaults of adults who end up pregnant. All these things. That's what they want to use abortions for. These people are thinking that people are just having sex and having abortions. So they're thinking only the Democrats do it. Only the Democrats. The Republicans don't do it. Nothing. So listen, I've had it with the Trump issue. I know how I'm going to vote. There ain't no two ways about it.
As from a medical standpoint, what's your view? I mean, how many cases do you see of patients needing to have a termination because of medical reasons? Primarily, it will be medical reasons in your case, because in case of the rape and incest and stuff, it will probably be done privately. But for medical reasons, the person is miscarrying, the baby has expired within the womb or whatever.
Yeah.
And doctors are no scared to touch this because you're looking at a felony charge and some serious jail time. If so, people bleeding out and possibly dying from some sort of septic infection because they don't get the necessary treatment, which may involve a procedure which can be considered a criminal offense.
Yeah. Probably 1 in every 100 or so you get some sort of complications or something like that. But here in Massachusetts, we're still liberal and still doing, whatever we can to help that patient, But if a woman has a baby and they said that, the baby is already, without a heartbeat, why should she carry it to term? That's going to put her life in danger.
Puts her life in danger.
So medically, the doctors, here gives that lady the choice of what she wants to do. And if she says she wants to take it, we don't really have that issue here, thank God, so far that I've heard.
It's on a state-by-state basis, no, eh?
Yes, it's on a state-by-state basis. When you go like Massachusetts is a blue state, but you go to Texas or one of those red states, and maybe like Florida or something like that, you would have an issue down there. So people will leave those states and come to us, for example.
I have a thought I want to share with you guys. It is rumored that Trump has had extramarital affairs. If any of those women became pregnant, would he support them having an abortion? Or perhaps has any of those women had abortions?
But do you understand that Trump has only just become a Republican? So his thought of pro-life is only recent. So when he was young and he was having these extramarital affairs, he was not a Republican. He was not interested in pro-life. Trump does things for political reasons. He's only pro-life because of the Republican Party. If Trump were to leave the Republican Party tomorrow, he would be whatever it is to benefit Trump. So if what benefits Trump is abortions, he would be for abortions.
Well, if he's ever paid for an abortion for some woman he had an extramarital affair with, he's hitting it well, because if that came out, that would be political suicide.
Yeah. He's in the habit of paying off these people, having them on disclosure agreements, and but some an amazing amount of women have come out. I mean, he just lost a suit there last week. Just before the debate, he lost a suit, and I mean his response is always, "Oh, they're after me. People are weaponizing this. People. I mean, he even went so far as to say that ABC gave Kamala Harris a copy of the question, and they were fact checking him, but they weren't fact checking her. But somebody quite rightly responded, yeah, they didn't fact check Kamala, but when the fact check Kamala had made a maximum of 2 what they would call untruths, and they weren't lies, they were just not factual. It was something to do with the border, and something else that they mentioned. But that man was, I mean, I am not an American and I don't live in America. You can sit down and listen to the crap the man was talking. You know what I mean? When again, as far as the cats and dogs, but I mean, when everybody knows he did everything to kill Obamacare. I know he tried to say he saved Obamacare. You know,
why
so,
did he not spend more time talking about the real issues like inflation and the cost of living, the prices at in the supermarket? Because that is what many people
Because
in
he
America.
doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Man does
If you
not
don't
have
know,
a plan.
you avoid those things.
The man has a concept. After 4 years as president, 4 years in the wings, he only has a concept. So, in other words, he does not have a plan. All right.
Yeah.
So he can't talk of things. He thinks that the United States and the United States economy can be run like The Apprentice. You know, it doesn't work like that. You have to be sensitive of international values. He's not sensitive of human values, so he can't be sensitive of international values. He makes all kind of threats and statements to alliances like NATO. You know, could you imagine if he was the president of the United States now with the turmoil that is going on in Europe? You know, the kind of stress that will be going on now in both the Middle East and Europe. You know, and I guess we will get around to this topic, but you know, things are even escalating further, and any move that is made by the US right now, we know is going to be a cautious and calculated move, right? As opposed to just somebody going after the ego and what seems to benefit them the most. So, I mean, he's definitely not presidential. He has no couth. He has no respect. He has no protocol. I remember seeing something way back when Her Majesty was alive. You know, he pushing to step in front the Queen for a photo shot and this kind of thing. You know, the man has no couth. The man has no culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like I will tell you straight, I have very little trust in the electorate. I don't see it impossible to get back in because he represents the true American as far as I'm concerned.
Hess, what are your comments?
Hess, remember you live there? Okay.
I know, so I have to be very careful what I say.
Yeah.
But if you put common sense into the equation, right, and you're saying these two people are running for president of the United States, you want substance, right? You want
substance and empathy,
right? You want somebody who's compassionate. You want somebody who's caring. You don't want somebody who is a narcissist or everything is about me, and my crowd size and this, you know, and everything he said was technically negative. He said the United States is going downhill and everything is bad and the economy is bad and he's the
but
only
he will
person
fix it.
who can
But
fix
he will
it.
miraculously fix it.
But he was in for 4 years and he didn't do all of that stuff. That he said that he
He did nothing. He did nothing. Even the wall that he said he was going to build.
Right?
Even the wall that he said he was going to build, he didn't build no wall.
Remember that Mexico was going to pay for it.
Right? He's already battle tested with what happened with COVID and he failed. So why would you want somebody like that at the helm if there was another pandemic to come about? You know?
To give advice on drinking some more Clorox or something else, even worse.
So I'm just saying, just using common sense. I'm neither Democrat nor Republican. I just want to choose somebody who I feel will be able to have a level head that you can count on, because this is the person that is basically running the country. You don't want a loose cannon or somebody who is going to just be a dictator that he says that he wants to be.
But that's what he wants. That's what he is going to be. He is a loose cannon and he wants to be a dictator. So
you heard Robert. You heard Robert De Niro.
When you read what they have right now, the Project 2025, there's nothing for minorities in there.
Nah.
Right?
Not if a startup
social services are going to be cut. Right? They want to stop teaching African American history in schools. Right?
You know they already stopped in Florida, Has.
Yeah. So
we have a governor down here who don't deal with that stuff. And then when you hear the guy in the chat talking about woke policies, He is sitting down listening to all these white people talking and quoting everything they're saying. And he think he's so smart. So because I call him an idiot, everybody is on me. But he's an idiot. The guy is, oh man.
He need to go back to Jim Crow and see how he was surviving.
But that's what they're trying to do. That's what Trump wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he wants to make America great again.
Did you hear Robert De Niro's comments today about if you get back in, you will never get him out?
Of course not. He already said he wouldn't. Listen, he made a statement. He made a statement that he said, if you come out and vote for him now, you will never have to worry about voting again.
Correct.
Yes, he said that. You will never have to worry about voting again.
You know what is amazing to me is that you were the president, right? And there's so many people that worked underneath you. When he came on, he said, I'm going to bring the greatest group of people together. And at least 50% of these people are saying that he should never go near the White House again. Precisely. And people are not taking their word. You got all these generals and these people that were, in his cabinet that are coming up and saying this guy doesn't read, he doesn't listen, he makes his own decisions even when you give him all the information.
My understanding is he listens to the last person who happens to speak to him before he has to do anything. Right? So like this woman that was on the jet with him, they're claiming now that she messed up his whole preparation thing for the because she's a real high, and she was like, filling him with a lot of racist and stupid ideas, and he get off the plane with his head all muddled. She erased everything that the advisors would have told him, and he could, and as you said, the issues weren't handled. No, I can be honest. I mean, Vice President Harris didn't really delve into detail, but she doesn't have to delve into detail. She didn't have to delve into detail at that point in time. She gave enough to show that she has a direction, a plan, etc. But what was more important is to show that to show her presidential authority and her presidential competence against a tyrant, right? So if she can handle Trump, she can handle Putin, she can handle the Ayatollah, she can handle Netanyahu, who is another person that really doesn't have a lot of.
You're right, Charlie. You're right. Even people are complaining that they did not address the issues enough. Fair enough, but they've been addressing the issues on the electoral campaign all along. So I think the debate really was an opportunity for them to audition for the role of president.
The role of president.
And it was a personality, assessment, and I think she did a much better job of presenting herself as an ideal president compared to him. Whether or not she is the ideal or the perfect person to be president, there are only two people in the race, and compared to him, she showed him up. And I think that in that regard, she won hands down.
She whipped his butt.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only problem with that is that debates don't win presidency. So you gotta still wait and see. Because black people don't come in America. Black people hysterically don't come out and vote. What they did for Obama, you will have to hope that they would do for her. Black people does not show up to vote.
But
that's why,
Anton, the next thing
yes, sir.
is that your electoral process with this electoral votes thing, that's a serious thing. You could win you see Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton lost because of the electoral college, not because of votes.
Hillary Clinton lost because she shouldn't have been running. That should have been Biden running, and he would have won. Hillary Clinton lost because she was, in Beijing terms, she was too fast. She should have given Biden the chance as the vice president to run for the presidency. She was too fast. Had Hillary Clinton waited one term, she would have won the election. One term. I'm telling you. Hillary Clinton was too far. She had too much going against her with all the other foreign policy stuff, with the phones, with all. She should have just, the same thing what Biden did. Biden tell her, okay, you want to run? You go ahead. That's what she should have done. Biden was the vice president. He was more popular at the time than her. She should have said, you know what, you're the vice president, you go, I will wait my turn. No, she was rushing to get in. And it proved, even though she got the most votes, she was not the most popular. She didn't get the most electoral votes. She lost. If you watch Biden in the last election, Biden was nowhere to be found. He was not even in the nomination for the Democrats. He was so far behind. And out of a blue, he won. And from there, he beat Trump. But Biden was not the most this time around because people had forgotten about him. Had he run after Obama, he would have won. He would have won. But she was too fast.
I also believe, in all fairness, I respect Mr. Biden, President Biden, and I think he's a human being. But I also acknowledge, I has bear me out on this. The man has definitely, even his mobility, his motions have become very strained and very labored, right? And don't fool yourself. Trump ain't a baby neither. And Trump
is 78. Biden is 81.
Trump has shown a depreciation in sharpness. He ain't a sharp nose he used to be before.
Yeah, that's correct.
He's not a sharp nose.
But you got to remember, right? For example, when Trump was going through the nominations with all of against all of these Republicans people, right? He's a showman, and people love showmen. So a part of the thing is that you have to have competency, but you also have to have presence. Right, and whether you like it or not, he has presence, right?
You mean Christmas coming up? Those kind of presents, or not those kind of presents?
No. I'm just saying, so that's one of the reasons that he got the nomination in the first place.
For me is I thought it was a joke.
You know,
it was a joke for president. I thought it was a joke. You know,
of course, everybody, nobody could foresee him winning that presidency. Nobody.
I would vote for
Dwayne he Johnson. Had tried to run for presidency before. He ran for presidency in the Green Party. It was a joke. Trump is a joke. Trump is a joke, but you can't convince some people, so it is what it is, man.
Yeah. Well, he has listen, the thing with him is that you have 4 years to look back at to see exactly what he did and what he didn't do. We have that. Right? And anybody with common sense could see he failed at COVID. He left us with $1 trillion in debt. Right? He didn't even build the wall that he talked about, and Mexico didn't pay for a damn thing. And we lost manufacturing jobs and all of this sort of stuff. So this is the record that he's running on, but he tells you, I've done the greatest thing. I'm the greatest president. And people buy that.
Nobody have seen it. Nobody have seen it like him. Nobody.
I don't know. You know, I think we have spent enough time discussing that gentleman or that person, right? On a similar note, and him getting back into power is particularly important on the recent developments whereby President Zelensky has asked the suppliers of long-range weapons, being the British, some European countries, I believe Germany and there, and the US, for permission to use these long-range weapons in reprisal strikes against
Russia.
Right? The Putin regime today made a very clear statement. If the US gives permission for these weapons to be used long range, he will consider it as a declaration of war.
Enemy of Russia. An enemy of Russia.
Russia being a potential threat to Russia, and Russia being at war with the allies. No, that is a very worrisome.
Of course. I want to say something at this point. Stick a pin for 1 second, Charlie. Considering that, who do you want as your president? Trump or Kamala Harris? Considering these geopolitical issues, particularly Russia and Ukraine.
Can I say this? Russia right now I think that that's all talk, because Russia right now, the Ukraine just entered into Russia, and a lot of people had to be evacuated from the Russian border. Over 200,000 people. So if Russia cannot stop a depleted Ukraine army, how can they go against the US, England? They're talking about nuclear weapons, but everybody else got nuclear weapons too. So I mean, all that is just talk. I'm not even concerned about Russia. Not concerned about Russia.
You see, I can't judge President Putin at all. You know, you got to remember his background. He's former KGB. He was the chief attaché of the KGB office in East Germany, right? And you know, he is a diehard Soviet Union person. He cried when the Soviet Union was dissolved. He would love to see the Soviet Union back together, which means all of these states like Georgia and Belarus and Lithuania and Ukraine and all them there come back into some sort of federation. And that's the whole reason for trying to. It will not happen because these countries westernized now and they move more towards the west than towards those old regimes. So,
Gentlemen, I'm going to have to go. I have an appointment, so I'm going to have to bid you farewell. But thank you for having me again, and continue to have this amazing conversation. I'll watch it in the reruns. Okay. All right, guys. Have a good night. Okay. Take care.
Good night, buddy. You have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Right. So, you know, you can't tell. You don't even want the deployment on a limited basis of tactical nuclear weapons, and that's the only.
No, you don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that. But I mean, he's making threats. But you don't want that. But he got to understand also.
He's hoping people get frightened for those threats because if he can't handle Ukraine, he cannot handle NATO. I can tell you that.
He can.
He can't handle NATO.
Can.
The problem would be.
I think that is a strategic move by him so that other people don't get involved, because that's just bluster right now.
But
they're already involved. They're providing Ukraine with all kinds of weapons, so they're already involved.
Well, if they're already involved, then let them use them to the fullest capacity of what they can do.
You are forgetting one important and strategic player, China.
What? China.
Right. You got to hope that.
Well, China and Korea now. Yeah. Don't forget North Korea.
Well, he ain't saying. To be honest with you, he ain't saying that. He could be smashing a couple of.
No. If there's one, there's two countries the U.S. are. I'm telling you, they're very, very careful with China and North Korea.
China and North Korea? Okay.
North Korea. I don't think the U.S. are really afraid of Iran. The U.S. are afraid of China and North Korea. Yeah. And Russia, of course, and Russia.
But I will tell you this. This is my belief. I think that there's an alliance between those three at some stage.
At some level, yeah.
At some level, there is that alliance.
I don't trust that North Korean president. I do not trust him. I don't trust him.
You don't think rationally?
Yes. He just killed some people in his country because of some foolishness, nonsense. He just executed all of them. Those are people in his party.
His own brother-in-law, he executed him. But the thing is, the Chinese President Yi, he don't impress me as no idiot at all, right? He's not somebody that's just going to go and say, okay, he doesn't impress me as the type of person that will go and say, okay, but we got your back, kind of thing. As a matter of fact, I remember very clearly the Ukrainian invasion when it started two plus years ago. It was just around the time of the delayed Olympics in Beijing, and Putin went to Beijing, and the president of China asked them not to do anything drastic until the completion of the Olympic Games. And as the Olympic Games done, that invasion started. Right? So the Chinese president is more cognizant of world balance, and he seems to be a more rational person. What he's interested in is Chinese supremacy in trade, in military presence, all that kind of thing. Globally, he wants to become a really serious global player, like how the US is supposed to be, and their expansion regimes in Africa, the Caribbean, in various places is sort of starting to bring them more into the limelight. But they still can't mess with the influence that the US has developed over the years and stuff. And let me face it, you got to be crazy. You got to be crazy to go head to head with the US in a military conflict at this point in time, right? I mean, the Chinese have done a lot of catching up and stuff with from the technology standpoint, and they got a fairly good force. But the quality of the individual soldier, my man, right? They can't mess with US forces, British forces, NATO forces. Them fellas properly trained, right? Properly trained. And when it comes down, when all the technology is done and the limitations of nuclear confrontation limit the use of such levels of weaponry, it come back down to basic air, land, sea battle techniques. And the Chinese end up to scratch internationally with that as far as they can see. Right? They are good, but the whole regime is very similar to like when I was working with Pakistani troops. The caste system come right into the military, and them fellas ain't get move a cut from here to there unless the officer who's from a higher caste tell them to move it from here to there, right? And that's a basic inefficiency in armed forces. You got SEAL teams, all them men is be master chiefs or chiefs. There don't be no officers involved most of the time, and they operate very efficiently. They're taking command from
The problem though is that China has so many people.
That's the thing. It's like the Vietnam War. Remember, there was a place called Fairbanks Gloria.
China has so many people.
Where the first kill ratios and stuff start coming out, and it was like 300 to 1. The Americans killed 300 of them to 1 American, right? And then, man, they're still coming. The man just had the fellas eventually said, "You see this? Calling an airstrike danger close to kill off everything because we can get over it." China got real people.
So many people.
I think they still got the largest army in the world. I think they still got the largest army in the world.
Of course, they should. They should.
But I think they're a little bit more conservative, and less prone to irrational behavior than the other players that we mentioned. Right.
I agree with you, bro.
So that's another reason why we got to be careful with that person becoming president, because that's beer trouble there. That's beer trouble.
I don't think we got to worry about him becoming president. Yes, I agree that'd be beer trouble, but I think we worrying about stuff that we shouldn't even be worrying about. I think that guy. I don't think the people are going to vote for him this time. I really don't.
Anton, it's never over till it's over. Don't say that.
I agree with that.
I don't
talking about you to press on. You cannot.
I don't know no fat ladies.
So yeah, but we're talking about the unknown. We're talking about the unknown. So I am just saying what I believe.
Yeah. Well,
so that's it. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. The next thing that we have planned to talk about tonight is the situation here at the law school. You all hear about it?
No, I didn't hear about it. What happened?
I haven't.
Apparently, there's a school ruling now that students can't have beards. They can't have no facial hair.
Wow.
So people beginning to talk about infringement on rights and this.
Okay. So
where's
what
your
is
view on that?
so that is that the principal of Lodge that's in that picture? The guy that's going to be the new Combermere principal?
I am not sure. I can't confirm that.
Is that him?
I cannot confirm that.
Okay.
I thought they said the new Combermere principal was coming from Foundation. He's not?
No, it's from Lodge, I think I've heard. The last thing I heard.
Oh,
That looks
okay.
Oh, wait a minute. This second thing that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Maynard's brother had come from Harsh's College to Combermere, right? And then he went to Lodge? That's where he went? Or he went from Harsh's College to Lodge and then to Combermere?
Dr. Maynard's brother?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You mean Don?
Yeah, I think after he left Combermere, I think he retired.
Yeah, he retired.
Who you mean, Don? You mean Don?
No. John passed away many years ago, Anton. Boy, you in it.
Really? Because Don used to teach me. Don used to teach me, so I didn't know.
Yeah. No, this was I can't remember. I recall his name right now, but it was
This
another
was
major.
Benji was the hockey player, and then there was this other one. The name is
but he left a couple years ago, and Miss Beckles replaced him.
Mm-hmm.
Now Miss Beckles
is
moved into the ministry, and there's another person coming. So now I haven't heard anything official per se, but the thing is that they were saying that it was probably this gentleman from the Lodge School. So if that is what you're talking about, Charlie, in terms of is this the same person that's talking about you can't have beards and stuff like that? I don't really know the whole story on that, so I really can't expound on it, But funny enough, my observation is if that's the person, he has a beard. So why isn't he clean?
Do as I say, not as I do. Do as I say, not as I do.
Then these youngsters nowadays, especially certain ethnic groups, get past 14, 15 to start to develop the facial hair. I heaven forbid if they ever start to shave or do something with it, it can get worse.
True that.
I really don't know the whole story, but if there was anything about beards or whatever, I would just say they should be neatly groomed because you don't know if people have problems with ingrown hairs
and all that kind of stuff.
or whatever, and you have to let people have freedom of expression.
Yep.
Right to a certain point, if it's not disruptive. So I mean, young boys, young men turning into men, facial hair is natural part of growing up. So
yeah. And like I always tell my
I mean, you're not in the military per se, so what are you gonna tell somebody you can't have a beard?
But even in the military, if you're going to Coast Guard, you can hold a beard.
Yeah.
That's why all the fellas just jump to the Coast Guard when they got facial issues and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or they just,
Yeah. So I don't really know the whole story. So I
don't
say anything.
I can't even talk about that, so I gotta leave that one alone. I know nothing about that. Nothing.
All right, so we will just table that for the time being. I think we are done. I think Alicia has sent in some things there that she talked about. She's one of the people that apparently she's not back yet.
Yeah, she said she was doing something with the church tonight, right, Hess?
Kept doing something, so she wouldn't be able to make it.
Yeah, she was doing something with the church tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see what she had here. Well, she had this here thing. The facial here. Looks as though we're getting some signage and stuff at the Combermere, man, with the school rooms and parking for headmaster and deputy principal and all this kind of stuff. All the rooms getting these very nice looking marks, signage for the door and stuff. So I saw her enter that. But another thing I saw today, you all remember Azel's shirt?
Yes. Azel?
Yeah.
I didn't know that Azel had designed the uniforms for the first female intake when Charlie Pilgrim said Charlie Pilgrim was talking to Azel about bathrooms and how he can deal with all these girls and he ain't got no bathrooms and thing. And Azel said, but Mr. Pilgrim, you even think about uniforms? And Charlie Perkins said, "Oh, sure, man, you know, I didn't even think about that." As I said, you want me to design something for you? Because you know he's very artistic and stuff. So Charlie told him, go ahead and design the uniforms. And the uniform that was designed, that khaki uniform that the law school wears with the Combermere belt, was designed by ourselves. And that was the first uniform design, and it is in place up to today. And that was a fact I did not know until today. I saw that it might even be on the Combermere website, alumni website. But I saw it somewhere on a Combermere platform. I just thought it was worth mention. You know, I'll see if I can get the clip, because I saw a clip, and we can pull it up on the next show and talk about it.
Okay, and maybe you could also get a picture of one of the young ladies wearing the uniform, so we could.
I got that as well. That's all in the clip that I had.
Oh, okay.
I saw, but
right. That's very good. I mean, that's a student who designed the uniforms. That's very good. You know what I mean? Instead, it didn't come from outside of the school, but somebody from inside of the school. So kudos to him for doing that.
Very much so. I thought I should mention it tonight.
Yeah.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
Yeah. So
you know that I 100% be on you now, because you're very efficient. I like what you're doing. Good job.
Yeah, man. So, is there anything else you wanna bring up tonight?
Not me. I'm spent. I
So
said everything I had to say.
Just throw this out to the wind. I am part of a charity group called Harry's Dreamers, and there are other Combermerean groups that do charity stuff. Now that school is starting, there are students that are out there that are in need. Some don't have their parents don't have enough money to get uniforms, and they're single parents out there, mothers and fathers, that times are hard for them. So if anybody out there listening, and you can help somebody else on your own or whatever, reach out.
Why don't we put it in the chat, Hess? Why don't you put it in the chat and see what we can do?
But yeah, reach out to us.
Collectively.
Yeah, see, we can if you can assist, that would be great, because there are a lot of children out there in need.
Okay.
Yeah. So
definitely. Hess on
that. Put it in the chat, man. Put it in the chat. Yeah. Let's see if we could get a collection going, and I'll see where we can go with that.
Yeah. Hess, on that point, I saw you chime in on something too about the intellectual property of Combermere School, Combermere alumni, and anything in blue and gold that related to Combermere, so that people cannot use our branding, because it is a brand, and there was mentioned that something should be done to register it with intellectual property or something like that. You know anything about that?
I heard there was a discussion this today in our chat, Charlie, that you and I are in, and I think someone brought it up and saying that there are a lot of people out there that are doing different things and selling different products with Combermere logos and stuff on it, and the school is not getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
So they need to kind of get something in place where, if that occurs, then some sort of monetary funds should come towards the school.
Boy, that is true, boy. But you see, that's a hard thing. I bet you all don't know, right? You just can't take out the Barbados flag and use it just so and print t-shirts.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. But how do you technically enforce that?
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. Everybody's doing it. You know, everybody doing it, because I remember when we were looking at new cycling uniforms. I was the vice president of the cycling union at the time, and I told the president, my man, you just can't go and you gotta pass this. You gotta pass it through the appropriate ministry, and seek, get them an idea of the uniform and all this kind of thing. You're representing the country and stuff, and we using the emblems of the country. You just can't go and so you making a uniform, and the appropriate ministries didn't know about it, and he didn't know about that. and that was the first time we ever did it. You know, basically had it cleared by the appropriate ministry before setting off for the design. So I mean, the whole matter of copywriting it and stuff, all it means is that if we catch the body, we could force him to pay the royalty. You know, but we ain't like. I think those things are enforced more now in Barbados, because you get in trouble for knockoffs. You know, you can sell things proposing to be, you know, for instance, Christian Dior or whatever, and there's knockoffs. You know, the customs people will hold you for that. So, I mean, it's something worth looking at least to have in place for a number of reasons. You know, not only from the revenue standpoint, but from the misuse standpoint. You know, people use our signage to achieve certain personal goals or whatever. You know, so at least we should have something out there saying that, you know, this is signage and these are emblems and images that cannot be used without the permission of the governing body of the school.
But even so, Charlie, and this is where I come back again. Even so, they say that, right? And somebody goes out there and makes T-shirts or clothing or whatever. How do they go and enforce that on that person?
That's real simple. All you gotta do is tell customs. Simple. Customs enforcement unit will go and shut them down and slap a charge on them. Yep. You know, all them fellas in town that selling knockoffs and stuff. When you see customs come around and grab a whole bunch of stock because it's doing copyright infringements, you know, somebody just whisper a word, and that's the end of it. And people will stop doing it if they lose the investment. Even if they don't get fined, they can lose the investment of printing the shirts and the cost of the shirts. And the shirts will either get destroyed or we would benefit from the same shirts and sell them and make the money.
Hey, I just came from Brooklyn, right? Look what you get in Brooklyn.
Am I go?
Am I
go? Small eyes.
But it don't look right neither.
It ain't right yet, but it massive.
Lord. Yeah, I see mine goes like that in St. Lucia, boy.
I
see mine goes like that in St. Lucia. Huge.
Yo, Hess, answer you really, but you looking massive too, boy. What's up? What's going on? Talk to me, brother.
This is a lot of there's a lot of food and work, hard work.
More power there, Hess. More power there, buddy.
No, listen.
I listening. You know me, you go way back now, so I will listen.
You know that I did weigh about 120 pounds when I was in Barbados.
Yeah.
When you was in kindergarten, when you was at Wesley Hall Boys School or Robert Boys School.
You was a drummer in the core drums, right?
Huh?
You was a drummer or symbolist?
I was a side drummer.
A side drummer, right? Because Wayne was the symbolist. Yeah, you was a side drummer. I remember you was kind of skinny.
Yeah.
Very skinny all the years. Man, he went to Sunday school together. He was always skinny.
But no,
now I see Hess now.
What I realized
200
is
pounds.
only when I came to the United States that I realized that we were, I wouldn't say it, we weren't malnourished, we were undernourished in Barbados for most of us because our parents didn't have.
You were just born. You were just born.
A lot of protein in our diet. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, you were just born, Hess. You were just born. I don't think we were malnourished. You were just born. Call it what it is. You were born.
Well, anyway, when I came to the States and I realized the quantities of food that you could get at the places you could get them, the whole dynamic changed. And then I started and then I started getting
that's why I'm not mad with you, brother. Eat all you can eat.
No, but it wasn't just eating. You got to have a strategy and also commitment to working out.
Well, I see you got your strategy in place because now you're about 225 pounds. So your strategy is well in place, Hess.
Yeah.
And it's doing very well.
So to maintain
I'm still 155 pounds. So
to maintain this, I have to eat about 5 or 6 times a day.
That's all.
And I think you do.
That's every time
I think you do.
Yeah.
Every time I see you be eating.
Yeah, and then but ain't just eating too, Charlie. Is the what you eat and the quantities of what you eat.
What you eating?
Right? So you would know very well as being a sportsman yourself with the diet and the training that goes into it. Right? It's a commitment because like when most people are sleeping, I go into the gym. You know?
It's a commitment until it becomes almost a habit.
Yeah,
it
well,
is a habit.
that's what it becomes, and then it becomes a part of
your
it got to be a habit, though. It got to be a habit. It got to be a habit.
So,
boy, Antoine, boy, I hope you got a defibrillator close, boy, because that thing ain't stop beeping yet.
I don't even hear it. You know, it's so unnatural now that I don't even hear it. It's an alarm on the fridge. It's an unusual situation. People don't have alarms on fridges, but this fridge came with an alarm, so I think it's on its way out, and that's its signal.
Anton, I can't come, but your house go every time we open the fridge, it will alarm.
You even go open the fridge. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you come by my house, it's alarm.
It's like one of these new smart fridges that when the groceries running low and said it will get alarm.
Let me show you. Let me show you. That's my fridge.
Man, that fridge is a house.
Hey, man, I tell you, but it's one of them new model fridges. It got a freezer down the bottom that is bigger than a regular freezer. I can tell you one thing that I love about this fridge. That's why I'm sorry that it's going. When I put a 12-pack of beer in the refrigerator, it have the compartment that I could put 13 or 14 beers. I love that fridge. I love that fridge, boy. I'm going to miss it.
All that fridges?
It got to be about 10 years now. So it's time to go. It's time to go. It's time to go.
That look as though it's going enough circuit boards that it's better to change that and try to fix it.
It's probably, it's better to get rid of it, but you know, like everything else, I wait until they fall down dead first.
Hey, man.
Listen, if there's one thing as a correctional officer I learn every year was CPR. I keep giving this fridge CPR. I breathe in life into it for another few years, and I hoping that 29, 30, you know, I hope it lasts another year, man. You all right there.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, boy, let's say.
By the way, Anton, along with the manga,
yes,
I got 6 sweetbreads and 20 turnovers.
But you know that in nowhere that affects me. You ain't say, well, Anton, you know, we go way back. Let me send a sweetbread and a turnover for you. I ain't hear nothing so what you telling me that you have nothing to do with me. Enjoy your turnover.
You're welcome to come to my house and I would have that stuff. I'm not shipping nothing.
But hey, you get all that stuff from up there? Huh? You from the West Indies?
He was in New York. He was in Brooklyn. He was in Brooklyn. He was in Brooklyn.
Lucky enough that one of my very good friends, he called me. He said, Hess, I know you was a flower merchant. And I got some flower for you.
Good flower never.
Yes.
He came by where he was staying last night. And he delivered the bread to me.
I hook you up. Well, Hess, I ain't coming to Massachusetts because I get cold. So enjoy your sweetbread, your turnovers, and your manga. And keep that smile on your face. That's all I like to see you. And I good. Once you good, I good, buddy. Once you good, I good.
Antoine, you know a former correctional officer named Ryan Clark?
I'm in Florida now. I'm in Florida. That's where I did my correction.
Oh, you don't know from here. You don't know correctional officers from here.
I know one or two from there. I know a guy named Charlie Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
I know a guy named, I think it's Stephen Trotman. Big guy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Those are the only two corrections. And I know a guy that retired. Me and him that's play cricket and we work out when in Barbados. They call it Burroughs. You know Burroughs?
Mm-mm. I just know.
Oh, you were a correctional officer too?
No. I have a friend that's a correctional officer. Oh. He moved overseas. No, he does security consultancy like I do. And no, I was just wondering if you
No. I did mine in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale.
He lost his son, you know, so I was was just going to share that with you in case you know him.
Charlie,
Okay, okay. Sorry to hear that.
Anton and I used to go to Sunday school together, right? And that was when he was about 10 years old or something. So I know Anton from the time he was about 10 years old. And never in my wildest dreams I would ever think that Anton would have been a correctional officer.
But been a corrections officer, you know.
Yeah.
But hey, boy.
But that's amazing how the world, you know, how you
Yeah. You know what's so funny about that, Hess, is when I was graduating from high school in Boston, this buddy of mine that went to high school with me told me, listen, come and sit the civil service exam. And we were going to the prison in Massachusetts. I tell you, boy, I am too small. I would never do that kind of work. And not knowing that years later, that's the job that I would do. And that's the job that got me set for life. I am set. Yes. I will never be rich, but I'm comfortable and I will be comfortable for life.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
Rich
It's
is
strange. When I came to Massachusetts, right? I took the fireman's test and I scored a 99. And they had called me and said, well, at the moment, sir, we are not hiring, but you could become a metropolitan police. And everybody was like, man, let's take that job. And then the rumor was that the Metropolitan Police was going to be taken over by the state police. So if I had taken that job, I would have been a state police. But I said,
police, yeah.
To do with being a policeman, you know?
Yeah.
So I let that.
I can't say that. I end up doing some jobs, and then that I was even a teacher, Hess, and they wanted me to go back to school to get my certification to be a full-time teacher. And at the same time, corrections came calling, and they were sending me to school and paying me while I'm going to the academy, as opposed to me paying to go back to the university for a year to get my certification. And I said, what? That's a no-brainer. So I went with the academy, they paid me, and 10, 12 years later, I'm retired and enjoying life, brother. I know if I had become a teacher, I probably would still be working right now.
And ducking bullets.
Because let me tell you something. It's funny that you say that, right? It's funny you say that. I was more comfortable working in the jail than I was in the school.
Wow.
And it had nothing to do with bullets. Because listen, I'm telling you, I had my head on. Listen, I was teaching middle school. I was teaching middle school, right? And at the end of the day, I'm correcting papers in the class. And these little girls will come to the class door. Mr. Allen, I would say, wait, don't come in. I'm going to come out to you. I will go outside and talk to them in the hallway where anybody can see me. Because you know what? These little children will come in school. Next thing you know, you're in jail.
Yeah.
I will come out and talk to them.
Yeah.
All right. So I was more afraid in the school than I was in the jail. And that is no lie. Wow. I'm telling you right now. Yes.
But Hess, when you were joining the fire department, you were joining the paramedic section, or you was joining the fire department?
No. It was the test I took was just to be a regular fireman. But I was kind of glad that I didn't go that route, because working in the hospital now, I see a lot of older firemen, and they suffer with a lot of cancer and stuff, all the asbestos and the smoke and stuff that they're breathing over the years. They suffer with a lot of cancer, boy. So I was like, maybe God just directed me not to go in that direction. Thank goodness. You know?
No, but it's not everyone though. Because let me tell you something. I have two buddies.
Yeah.
I have two buddies in Massachusetts who we used to play cricket together. A guy called Banfield Nelson and a guy called I can't remember his name right now. And they both retired. They both retired from the fire department in Massachusetts. Oh, the guy is Grantley Headley. And they're doing very well in retirement.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them. I've seen a lot of them with respiratory problems. You know?
Yes.
And,
but I'm hearing the same thing too from being in the military, in the Navy, that when you work with the fire foam and stuff, that you think, and I work with all of that. I'm lucky that I didn't have that. So, but I was both in the Navy and I work in the prison. So
You remember coming back full circle now. Remember when you started the conversation, you said you don't got the brain cells? That might be the cause.
That is the reason. No brain at all. I'm telling you. Absolutely right. That's probably why I'm a survivor. Huh?
All that stuff you breathed in years ago.
There wasn't a brain for it to go to. It just went to empty space and blow right back out.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, man.
Listen, if you can't laugh at yourself or laugh with your friends, you're crazy, right?
It don't make no sense.
Yeah.
I don't take it like that serious, B.
Yeah.
I don't take it like that serious. I am good. I am good.
Yeah,
and I can laugh. That's what I do every day. I make sure I get a laugh. Sometimes I just pick up my phone and go to Facebook and I just watch 2.5 Men and I get a. And you wouldn't believe that I have probably seen all of those episodes. And every time I watch them, I laugh my head off. And Rodney Dangerfield.
Right? Think about this, right? You from Chapman Lane, I Freddie Greenfield.
Yes, sir.
Right? And we have been blessed that we have had fairly decent jobs and we've done fairly well for ourselves, Yes. And we the two snotty nose boys running about through Bridgetown or through Sutton Street and Mason Hall Street and places.
Of course. But speak for yourself, though, as you were a snotty nose boy. No, don't try to get me involved in that.
No, I always had a kerchief. My nose, I always
okay. Fair enough. I noticed that your hair used to look jet black and greasy. I didn't know if it was, and you wipe it in your hair, I didn't know. What happened to the hair, man? What happened to the hair? What happened to the hair?
It was hair and then it made hair.
You wouldn't believe how black his hair used to be. His hair was jet black. Jet black.
I think I remember, yeah.
Oh, you remember? You remember? His hair was jet black, man.
Well, also remember
and he used to got his slick, always slick down.
But no, you know the funny thing is, Anton, you remember a guy named Henry Adolph?
Of course. I told you I grew up with him.
Okay, so Henry Adolph was one of my mentors. So I always wanted to look like him. So he always had a bald head.
Okay.
With a diamond earring in the ear and
a goatee.
Well, he was well built, very well built. So
very well built.
I was trying to emulate him in a way. So this
you did a good job.
This is technically my physique is an homage to him.
Homage.
Yeah. So
you did a very good job, buddy.
I am a protege of Henry Adolph.
Okay.
And Richard Clark. Remember Richard Clark played basketball?
No.
Okay.
No. I was gone from Barbados by then.
Okay.
I was gone. Don't forget, I left at 15,
Oh, shoot.
Oh, wrong time, boy.
Yeah. There's going to be 50 years. There's going to be 50 years that I'm out of Barbados. 50 years.
Wow.
So I going home for Christmas to spend this is the first time in 50 years that I would have spent a Christmas in Barbados.
Wow.
The last Christmas I saw in Barbados was Christmas of 1974.
Mm-hmm.
So I going home. Yes, I going home to spend Christmas this year.
Okay.
That is.
Charlie, you look familiar. Do I know you from somewhere? Your face look familiar. You used to play football, cricket?
No.
You look familiar to me. Huh? Hockey?
Yeah.
But listen, Anton.
Okay.
Listen, Charlie was a national cyclist for Barbados. So you gotta remember Charlie. He was always on a bicycle. Charlie.
But you see, that's what I'm saying. I left too early. I left too early.
Charlie, where did you go? Where did you go to the Olympic Games?
84. Los Angeles. Los Angeles, 84, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
you must know my buddy, Richard Louis. You know Richard Louis?
Louis, yeah, you runner.
That's my boy, man. Yeah, that's my buddy. Huh? They call him the Jet. Huh?
Where is he now?
He's in Florida down here by me. He's in Florida.
But Richard, you still live in Brooklyn?
Yes, he used to live in Brooklyn.
I played when I lived in Brooklyn. I played cricket. I played cricket on the same team with Richard.
Remember?
Get out!
Yeah,
no, really?
Yeah.
I got mentioned that to him.
Yeah,
really?
Y'all remember Elvis Ford and Clyde Edwards?
Elvis Ford, no, the name don't sound familiar.
Elvis Ford used to call it the Rolls Royce, man, for a quarter mile. He ran.
Oh, no.
He was all the 4x4 team at the LA. That Elvis Ford, Clyde Edwards, fella named Patier. I can't remember who the fourth man was. Then as far as lost a bronze medal, but he just put in the men in the wrong position. Them boys was
Okay, as I said, I left Barbados too early, so I wouldn't know them people. I know them people.
Yeah.
So has you made up your mind when you're going back? Because I know you told me that the Combermere week you might not be able to do that. So you made up your mind, or you're not going this year at all?
Well, it's going to be a little bit difficult because I'm the early part of next month. I'm going to the Mr. Olympia bodybuilding show, which I usually go to every year. This one's in Las Vegas. So that is the week of the week of the 12th, and I think Combermere week is the 24th or something.
The 21st, yeah.
So that's
the Combermere week is my birthday week, so probably I'll plan next year to go to it.
Yeah.
This year, since I'm going for Christmas, I can't do Christmas and Combermere week too. So I might probably do Combermere week next year.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm not going back for Christmas next year.
Okay. Well, it's too much. I don't know about that turnaround for me.
No, I understand.
So we'll see. But if you go for Christmas, make sure obviously you go in the park, and listen to the police band and see the people dressed up and all that. Get into that tradition again if you can.
You remember Dash from Combermere?
Yeah, I know Dash. I don't think Anton would know Dash because
I don't know.
I go in the park just to see what Dash wearing.
There's the guys dressed up in all the pretty clothes.
Listen, they got a group of fellas that just be dapper in the park. Dash is one of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe the men that's plan all year for them outfits.
Yeah.
No, but the men look good. For real. Yeah. That's the thing. That is one of the traditions I'm glad to see is still well and alive,
Mm-hmm.
Well, them things are nice.
As a youngster in Barbados for Christmas, we would go to James Street early in the morning.
Church?
And then go in the park.
And then go to church. Right, then go in the park.
Then we would go and play basketball, right? And then we would go to one person's house, one friend's house, and we would get something to eat there. And then a whole group of us would go to the next person's house and the next person's house.
I guess they eat there too.
Yeah, and we would go to like 10 or 12 different people's houses and have Christmas, they would give us dinner and stuff like that. It was really fun.
It was nice. A lot of those things disappear now. I remember too when I was a kid. Your parents drove you around to all their friends who would have children. So you're exchanging presents and all that kind of thing. So Christmas evening usually it was either Christmas Eve or Christmas evening after you had your lunch and stuff. You would drive around. And you deliver all these presents all over the place, and you're obviously getting things like rich cake and sorry, at every place you go, and you come home, man, with your tummy, your tummy full of stuff, man. Good old days, boy.
Yeah. You remember they had something they used to call it corn and oil?
I know that one.
It was corn and oil.
That was before my time, Hester.
It would give you.
That was before my time.
Falernum. It was falernum and
Monge?
Tonic or something like that.
Yeah. I know the drink, but I can't remember it being called.
Yeah, I think there was something like that. But as youngsters, they would give us falernum because you couldn't drink rum.
You can't.
Okay.
Falernum alcohol as far as they know.
It was
no, man. Falernum was too sweet. Too sweet.
Falernum was basically sugar water.
yeah, that was too sweet to go in alcohol. Yeah,
falernum was basically sugar water. They wouldn't give the children alcohol. Yeah. But listen, you could eat
Cola tonic.
Yeah, cola tonic. That's cola tonic. Yeah.
Cola tonic and falernum was a drink. Yeah. But I never knew that it had a name. I just used to mix it.
I used to drink it.
Yeah, I just used to mix it and drink it. I didn't know it had a name.
Yeah.
Because just as you said, we were young, so we weren't allowed to drink alcohol. So those were the two non-alcoholic drinks. So we used to mix them. But I didn't even know they had a name.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I gave the right ingredients of the corn and oil was. I'm trying to see if I can find it online.
I remember that. I remember that term, but I can't remember where it was, or I'm of the opinion.
No, they're telling me that corn and oil here got him ram you. So
yeah, I've never even heard of corn and oil.
But
I've never heard of
corn and oil.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was fun, man. Christmas morning was like, the best.
For you?
For real. Yeah.
Well, no, because you obviously as a kid, you're looking for any gifts and the food. I mean, the quantities of food and this just the spirit of Christmas was everywhere, right?
Yeah. I was always alone, so Christmas was never a big deal for me in Barbados.
Yeah.
It was never a big deal because I was the last. My brothers and sisters, they were all grown up. So I used to just go in the park with my friends and stuff like that, but it was never a big deal for me. That's why I really want to go back this year and just enjoy it.
You still got connections there, right?
Huh?
You still have family there, right?
In Barbados? Yeah. Not really, no. We have a house there. I have nephews. I have a nephew that went to Combermere, a guy named Marlon Best. And yeah. But we're not really close.
Yeah.
We're not really close.
The corn and oil was rum and falernum.
Rum and falernum.
Yeah, but the falernum and cola tonic was a different mix for the children.
For the children, yeah.
Right.
Yes,
that's the one I would drink. I could understand you drinking the rum and falernum though. I could understand that.
No. I didn't get that. I was never a drinker. I was always an eater.
Eater boy. Eater.
Yeah, I'm an eater. Because
no wonder you going after Donald Trump and these cats that you want to eat, but that's a different story.
One of my
all right, I ain't gonna say nothing more. I ain't gonna say nothing more because I saw the wife passing in the background. So
no problem.
I can keep it down. I can keep it down.
But yeah, those were great times, man. In Barbados, the traditions.
Of course. Yeah.
Fellas, we coming up to the 2-hour mark here.
All right.
Okay, well, Charlie, it's nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you too. Nice having this chat again. This Lime. I look forward to this Friday night. This Friday night Lime every week. But
I didn't see you last week. You didn't come out last week?
I came out.
Oh, you were there last week. You were there last week. Oh, okay. Yeah. My fault. Yes, you were. Okay. Yeah. All right, well, it's nice seeing you. Yes. Well, man, boy, you look like you're putting on. I ain't care if you tell me about bodybuilding. Look, you putting on some weight, man.
Hey, listen, I just left Brooklyn. I heard Culpeper restaurant. So
Jesus Christ. So you hit Culpeper and you got the sweet bread and all this stuff?
Listen, when the man that owned the place, Winston, he said, Jesus Lord, has he still left some food for the rest of the people, man. I said, listen, as a customer, I got a different appetite than everybody else.
Different.
Charlie, I tell you, I know when he was as fat as this. So when I see he look at I really got to do a double take. Yes, because man, he went way back, He tell you about from 10, but I think we were in Sunday school even before 10. I think we were in they're walking to James Street, there's that little building on the left as soon as you come in.
Yeah.
Weren't you in there too?
Yes.
I would have sworn you were there with me. Yes, we were there. And that was before 10? That was before 10? Yes, we were young.
Yeah.
We were young in there, man.
Yeah.
So that was before 10. So I know you. And his mother loved me. Whenever his mother saw me, she would smile. I know she knew that I was an idiot from back then, but she would smile.
No. But listen, my mother was a very smart woman. She would always tell me to bring home any of my friends. And then when they left, she would say, see, don't bring And then she would say, "See that one? I like heat. Bring it back anytime." And you know what I mean? So
But
she would,
remember, we used to walk home. We used to walk home some evenings together. Remember? I would drop you off and then I would walk home. Because we would pass through Robert Street and then I would walk through town and go home to Chapman Lane.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we get
Those
wrap
were
up.
the days, boy.
So we will.
All right, Charlie. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Nice seeing you. See you all next week.
And before I go, I gotta let you know, Anton, I gonna get something to eat now.
Lordy. After you clean up, peppers. After you clean up, peppers, you can eat.
I got some barbecue pigtails.
Oh, Jesus.
Rice,
I don't want to hear.
2 chicken legs.
Yes.
Later, hey.
Enjoy, buddy. Enjoy. All right? Enjoy. All right, fellas, take it easy. See you all next week.
Goodie.
Ready.
All right.
Yeah, buddy.